Greetings, law-abiding viewers. I'm Daniel Butler, and this is America's Dumbest Criminals.
On this episode of America's Dumbest Criminals, keyless Klutz.
Drop the hat.
Bad liver lady. Cheap trick.
Get away, lady. I gotta go to work.
Stash flash.
This is not seasoning.
Wiener-Dog. And Courthouse Rock.
Oh, say, can you see?
And now here's your host, Daniel Butler.
On the bizarre TV show Twin Peaks, David Lynch brought us the Log Lady. Once again, real life has proved stranger and dumber than fiction, with the rise and fall of a Maryland woman who locals are calling the Liver Lady. On a number of occasions, the overnight drop box at the county library in Brooklyn Park was found in the morning stuffed with raw chicken livers. Granted, this was now the only spot in town where a book burning could turn into a barbecue, but authorities wanted the foul play to end. A surveillance camera caught the woman in the act one night, and detectives made the arrest. She faces 6 counts of destruction of property. Why did she put the chicken livers into the library slot? Some of these folks we just can't explain, and we'd rather not ask. Okay? Okay. You know, week after week, we hear about dummies messing up. Well, this numbskull is no different, because he left his keys at the scene of the crime. The officer in charge of the investigation, working on a hunch, had gone to a nearby parking lot and found a car that had been reportedly involved in a series of robberies. It was sitting there, parked, unattended. The officer promptly set up surveillance on the vehicle. Well, within moments, a locksmith truck pulled up to the parked car, and a man fitting the suspect description got out with the locksmith.
There's my boy. Well, isn't this clever? Getting somebody to do his dirty work. Oh, I think that's enough time. Hey!
Well, the locksmith was stunned when the police arrested the man as he was trying to break into his own getaway car.
Locksmith, get out of the way. Don't move. Put your hands up. Drop the hat. Put your hands up. Up against the car. Back up a little. Don't move. Don't move. How stupid can a guy be? Breaking into a stolen car. I want my hat. To steal it again? I want my hat. You probably stole that too. I want my hat.
At least he wasn't dumb enough to go back and ask for his keys, please. In the old Hollywood musicals, people would just burst into song at almost any time to express joy, sadness, anger, love. Gotta dance. No, they didn't seem to care who was around or where they happened to be. They just did it. Like this next caged bird. This was our somber suspect's second time in front of this particular judge. The first time he showed up to court without his pants. The judge wasn't impressed. Now, in front of the judge again for burglary, he knew he couldn't use his body to impress the judge, so he decided perhaps a patriotic serenade might do the trick.
Will everyone please rise for the singing of the national anthem?
Mr. Grimble.
Oh, say, can you see?
We're going to take
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the judge was not wooed, and he removed the warbling rock star from the room, and they didn't hear a peep from him after that. Sure, everyone knows about writer's block, but what about dumb criminal's block? Could it be possible that these guys get stuck on new and funny ways to screw up? No. Not judging from this next story, where the only thing blocked was the Jeep some schmo tried to steal. Deputy Sheriff Ron Scalaroot of Wisconsin's Forest County got an unusual car theft in progress call.
Besides trying to break the law, the moron of midair was also trying to break the laws of physics.
And was arrested for attempted car theft and public intoxication, which brought him back down to earth.
You have the right to remain seated.
And now, Crimes of the Week with Daniel Butler and Beaumont Bacon.
It's time now for Crimes of the Week. Here are 3 stories of a frozen banana, a Beavis and Butthead adventure, and a man covered in lemon juice.
It's true, Daniel.
It is.
It is absolutely true. I'm telling you, our first story comes to us from Marysville, Utah. And it seems two teens broke into a fire station and decided to siphon gas from the town's only fire truck.
Uh-oh.
It's bad enough that they were doing it, but from the only fire truck.
Kids.
After several minutes, the two teens weren't sure how much gas was actually being put into their gas can.
Did it
So one of
matter?
them, well, they're two teens.
Never mind.
That's right. Enough said there. So anyways, one of them got the bright idea to take a look to see how much gas there was. The only thing was, there was one problem, and that it was dark, and they did not bring a flashlight.
Uh-oh.
But wait a minute, they did have a disposable lighter, which they struck right above the 5-gallon can, half filled. There, yeah, it's getting sticky here, and it was, of course, filled with highly flammable gasoline.
As opposed to the...
The unflammable kind there, I guess. I'm not
Right,
sure.
yeah.
Either way, it's going to blow up.
Ouch.
Ernie and his now charbroiled buddy were treated for burns to the hands, face, neck, buttocks, and every other part of their body. And they were taken down to the local police station where they were charged with theft and breaking and entering and potentially making themselves the toast of the town.
Literally. Yeah. Kids, don't try that at home, okay?
Oh.
It's not the gasoline that ignites, it's those invisible fumes.
And we know about those fumes.
Oh, yeah. In our next story, the police arrest a man for armed robbery and carrying an unpeeled weapon. While being frisked, the police found the weapon the man had used in the robbery and informed him he was to be charged with armed robbery. The man protested, no way, as the weapon found in his pocket was a banana. It was a frozen banana, mind you. The only problem was he had hidden the frightening fruit in his pocket and tried to pass it off as a pistol.
Oh, wait, though. I thought there was a 7-day waiting period for bananas.
Oh, yeah, the Brady Bunch law, sure, but, you know, I mean, you don't have time to ask, is that a banana in your pocket or a huge hair-triggered .357 Magnum?
Either way, they both will go off.
True.
Have you ever slept on a banana? Dangerous.
Brutal.
Brutal. You can hurt yourself that way. Well, I've got one just as dumb, Daniel, and it's full of vitamin C. Police couldn't believe their eyes as they watched the security camera. And it was a tape of a break-in that had just occurred the night before. After breaking through a rear window of the clothing store that was going to be robbed there, the man that was caught on tape, he seemed to be smiling. Like waving and smiling at the security cameras as he was at the counter, and he just opened up his bag right there on the counter, and he produced a half-dozen lemons, and he began to cut the lemons just right there on the counter, and he then started rubbing the lemons all over his face, just squeezing the juice, the seed.
A beauty treatment?
I have no idea.
On the job.
Ouch if he has the cut. You bring salt with that, little tequila.
Burns.
And having done that, our fruit facial felon, he casually strolled through the store like he was going to shop with no qualms about being, you know, picked up or identified or anything. He was just taking his time, no fear of being detected. And the thing is that there are clear pictures of this man, and he was quickly identified and he was arrested the following day. However, he was shocked. This thief was shocked when he was confronted by the police. Apparently, in his mind, he was under the impression that lemons squirted and rubbed on his face would make him invisible.
Okay, the old Claude Rains
Little
thing.
Claude Rains thing
Didn't work.
It obviously
Did not work.
He did. Yeah, I thought he could pass through walls and all kinds of stuff, and it didn't work.
Okay.
So when the police finally caught up with him, they were really stifling a laugh, trying to. I mean, this moron just had so many misconceptions about this whole idea.
I
And
heard
the
that
idea is to spread lemon juice. What you're supposed to do is spread it on the lens of a camera because it blurs the picture, not yourself. There's another bad plan gone sour, Daniel.
Yeah.
Big
Well, sour indeed, Beaumont, but now it is time for our Idiot of the Week. Working on a tip, the narcotics unit of the Escambia County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, what's
the police department came here to serve an arrest warrant for... You wouldn't have any narcotics or anything in the house, would you?
The man who answered the door insisted there was no cocaine in the house, at which point the officers had to start laughing because, you see, the man standing there had a white cocaine mustache.
Well, so what's all this white stuff right up here?
Where?
On your face.
On my
Not
face?
Your face.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Come on out here. Come on out here. You know, you got all this white stuff on your face, you know, like
No.
you've been burying your head in flour or something?
Yeah,
most,
probably. No, it's just-
most normal people wouldn't, though.
I was making a cake.
Sort of the milk mustache,
Got milk?
which was,
Yeah.
got coke.
Got coke?
Was tested and proved positive as cocaine, and along with the other evidence found in the house, an arrest was made.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
No cocaine in this house.
That's right. Sorry, officers. There's no, and I don't have a loaded banana in my britches either.
Like any good plan, success lies in the timing, especially for these two completely clueless Canyon Country criminals who live by the motto, first come, first served. It was just minutes before 10 on a lovely California day when Larry and Moe, in their best bank robber getup, arrived at their rags-to-riches rendezvous. The problem is our masked muffin heads were a little too enthusiastic and way too early. The bank hadn't opened yet.
A bystander flagged some passing police who quickly arrived and showed our early nerds some doors that are always open.
Cell doors. Bank open at 10, jail always open.
Oh, man, I'm not doing this so stupid, man. You're dumb.
Officer Rich Woodworth had been working on a string of bank robberies he believed had been committed by the same person when he was given just the ticket he needed to crack the case.
What this guy had done, he went into the bank, did his normal armed robbery, ran out of the bank and ran to his car, which he had parked about a half a block away. But what he had done was he had illegally parked it in a red zone. And when he got back to his car, one of our police assistants was writing him a ticket.
Would you give me the ticket already?
So then we hear that this police assistant's calling that the vehicle's driving away, and I go over and talk to him. We put two and two together, find out the guy matched the description of the bank robbery suspect, and sure enough, we head him off at the pass, send that car to his house, and here he is driving up with the money, the gun, and the car and the license, and we have the ticket to prove it. And then I had my police assistant come over and identify him. Then we had the tellers in the bank identify him, so we pretty much wrapped that one up pretty quick. He shouldn't have parked in the red zone. That's my suggestion. If you're going to do a robbery, park your car legally.
It was a clear case of the pen being mightier than the sword. Now, in this next story, you'll see why it pays to look out for man's best friend. In Athens, Ohio, it's common for students to leave their dogs tied to street signs or parking meters when they go into a store. But for this one dumb criminal, it turned out to be a big mistake.
You believe this?
Think this is the one?
I think so.
You see, not only did the crook leave his dog tied up long enough to arouse suspicion, but when the police answered the call to investigate this poor pooch tied up, they discovered a little bag around his collar that contained $700 in cash and a small baggie of marijuana.
Well, look at this.
Whoa. Look what he's got around his neck.
Is that real money and real dope?
Looks like it to me.
I think we have an arrest.
Well, the dog owner went to the police station to report the missing dog, where he was promptly arrested and found to be in possession of further narcotics. Keep them in your pocket when you go to pick up your dog at the police station. Guess who's in the dog pound now, kids? Not the pooch.
Coming up next on America's dumbest criminal, Hotshot Hoofer, DMV, DUI. They vend that away.
You have the right to remain seated.
Obtaining a driver's license can be a terrifying experience. Your whole motoring future is hanging in the balance, not to mention the time spent waiting in line just to get the appointment for your driver's test. You want to be at your best, with all your skills sharpened and honed, not dulled and dense like this marinated motorist. It seems like a man in Helena, Montana showed up for his driver's license examination with a blood alcohol level of 0.24. Just so you know, the legal limit is 0.08. Needless to say, he did not pass go, a DUI on his driving test. Our next set of trained professionals seem to really have it all together. They successfully robbed a bank, got their money, made their way out of the door, but that's when their luck changed. The fool flew out at such a speed that he tripped over his own 2 feet. Then, as he hit the ground, his gun went off and shot him in the foot. His partner came back to help just in time for the cops' welcoming committee. They handcuffed the hapless hoodlums and hauled them hopping mad down to the station. You know, people say that the 50s were a more innocent time, but that was only true if you weren't guilty. Still, the dumb criminals back then had a certain naivete that you don't often come across today.
At the time, there was a rash of vending machine robberies, especially cigarette machines, because they were lighter than soft drink units. To help protect their investment, the owners put in motion alarms that were hooked up to sirens. One evening, these marauding morons stole a cigarette machine and put it in the back of their truck and drove off. However, they hit a bump. which set the internal siren off. The startled stooges panicked, assuming the alarm behind them was the cops, and tried their best to lose them.
Of course, the police eventually did get their men with a nice assist from a cigarette vending machine. As they say, the crooks had met their match.
If you're a dumb, armed criminal, and you're just plain tired of dumb guns and dumb knives, do us all a big favor and don't move on to power tools. Sticking up a Howard Johnson's motel is a man-sized job, so this Lake City, Florida woman chose a big tool, an electric chainsaw. Her entrance was fine.
Give me your money.
But that's when this crooked cut-up's plan ran out of juice. No, she doesn't have a silencer on that woodwhacker. She forgot to plug it in. Yes, that's right, America. She came, she saw. She didn't saw. And not only that, she was arrested for robbery, the unkindest cut of all. Can't you feel the electricity? We'll be right back with more of America's dumbest criminals.
If I were you, I'd drop the remote now.
The next story looks like your standard dope bust.
Hey, look what I found in your room over there, guys.
An officer with a warrant enters the suspect home and finds him smoking marijuana.
He also found plants growing in various pots.
This all I'm gonna find in the house?
That's everything.
It's everything. I'm not gonna find anything else.
That's it, dude. There's nothing. That's
Nothing else,
everything.
huh?
And also in a few not-so-well-hidden stashes.
Whose is this?
Oh, that's seasoning. That's part of that over there. It's just like
I've been
chopped
on
up.
quite a long time. This is not seasoning.
In fact, every time the officer found something, he asked the suspect.
Is this it?
That's everything.
That's everything.
You found
if
that
I
dude.
If I brought
That's
a drug
all
dog
of it.
through here, he wouldn't find any more.
Nothing.
No.
Every time he got the same answer.
But just on a hypothetical point, if you did have any more, where would you hide it?
I guess it was at that point that our criminal realized he wasn't the brightest boy in the room.
Me where I found, where this stuff is? Is that it? All right. You guys are bought and paid for.
Needless to say, in the very box he pointed to was the evidence needed to keep him in the joint for quite a while. Go figure. You know, we've all had times in our lives when we felt stuck in a rut, not quite ourselves, not sure where we're going in life, feeling like we're just barely hanging on. Well, this dumb criminal felt all of those things and more. A local video store robber was stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally. He had attempted to flee the scene of the crime, but while attempting to climb a nearby fence, he slipped and gave himself a full-body wedgie between the two fences. Officers found the guy hanging around the property and quickly dislodged the lopsided looter from his precarious perch. He's currently fenced in at the local jail and has organized a support group for other vertically challenged cellmates. That's all for this week. I'm Daniel Butler saying, hey kids, there's no right way to do a wrong thing. We'll see you next week on America's Dumbest Criminals.
Don't forget to watch these incredibly dumb stories on next week's episode of America's Dumbest Criminals. An egghead takes the fall in Out on a Limb. Paging a perp in
Hey, what's up? Yeah, who's this?
Dial a Narc. A girl with a mission in You Only Live Vice. And a clumsy crook is found hanging around on next week's America's Dumbest Criminals.
I'm sorry, we're rolling?
See the red light?
Our first story comes to us from a car. Let's start over.
Police were in hot pursuit of an armed bank robbery. He had arms. This is a good thing to have when you're robbing a bank.
Yeah. It really wasn't. I hate to burst your bubble. Here are three stories of a
Frozen banana?
Damn it, Jim, I'm a talent, not a doctor. Here we go.
Had to ask, why did you stop? The dumb criminal explained.
The crook.
The crook explained.
Emphasis on the dumb. Oh. How, Bowman?
What?
Are you going to a hunt? Can we start over? Here we go. Root hog.
Pig plane.
The warthogs. They started here in Nova Scotia. And then slowly, they moved to California.
Migrated. That sounds like a case of two goofballs. Goofgalls.
Rambo.
Rambo. Keep them doggies camels.